Hello. Today I'm going to talk about fishing. Boston has had a fishing fleet for hundreds of years, and it is a fleet that has gone out to try and gather food, as it were, for the population in all kinds of circumstances. Harsh winters, hot summers. It has also done so through wars and conflicts. In particular, it carried on working, feeding the country during the First and Second World Wars, when the country was blockaded by submarines. Now, this is a really difficult thing that they did, and it also gets almost no attention at all. We take it for granted. In a way, we have taken fishing for granted. It's a dangerous business. Casualties are a regular thing. Ships are lost almost on a monthly basis around the country. And I couldn't help but think about the people who did this. I've seen photographs of them. Smart, proud men in their flannel shirts and their flat caps, standing next to the name of their trawler. They believed they were doing a good job, and I believe that too. But I can't help but wonder what it'd be like to talk to one. So imagine it's 1940, and instead of a heritage officer standing here, you've got an old fisherman, well, not that old, middle-aged fisherman then. And you get talking to him about his life. What would he say? Well, lad, can't really talk about how things are now, loose lips and all that, but there'll be no harm in talking about how things were in the last war. You see, my father was out fishing in the last war. I was in Belgium with the Royal Navy battalions. Well, less said about that the better, eh? But my father, he was taking the drifters out just as he'd done in peacetime. Only it were a lot more dangerous. You see, as well as calm and gale, the normal fare of the North Sea, you've got submarines. Later on, airships, even planes. It were a dangerous business. Submarines, I'm told, was the worst. They were capable of sinking even large ships with their torpedoes, but they didn't waste torpedoes on fishing boats. They'd surface, point their heavy gun at the fishing boat and tell the crew to get off. Once the crew were off, they'd either put a shell thrower or row aboard and put explosive charges in the hull to blow it to bits. Everything were lost. Fish, boat. It were only a mercy the lives were saved. Now later on, they got protection. Armed trawlers from Grimsby and the like. Some of them were in disguise even. Can you believe that? Trawlers which were armed, pretending to be just trawlers without guns. Well, they would sail along with the rest of the fleet, and if a submarine showed itself, they'd lure it in by pretending they were panicking and abandoning ship. And the submarine surfaced, they'd pull the tarp off a 3-inch gun or whatever they had and open fire. Brave lads, but it were dangerous. Of course, the other danger from submarines was mines. They'd leave them to drift. You tangle one of those in your nets, well, that was it. They say there's enough explosive in one of them to blow a fishing boat clean in half. Lord help the fishermen on board when that happens, eh? You end up in the water, chances are you won't make it. But they kept going. kept fishing. All the old men, the youngsters, were away fighting. But the old ones kept going just as they always had done. You see, country needed feeding. My father, he said that it got better during the war. They got better at fighting submarines, and they had a, now what did he call it? Kite balloon, he said, from Skegness. Used to go out and keep watch in a big barrage balloon, like the ones they had on the front. They'd have observers up there with a telegraph wire, and if they saw a submarine they could send a signal down to their tramp steamer that towed them along, and that would send a signal to the rest of the fleet, get out the way, it's danger. Nowadays it's a bit safer. We've got, planes, Coastal Command with their Ansons and their flying boats. But the submarines are still a danger. It's the fair weather you fear. Whilst it's stormy, well, that's just how it's always been. You man the ropes, you draw your nets, you steer as good a course as you can. I hope you don't get overturned and founder. When it's fine, well, you can't relax then. You're looking at the sky, looking at the water. You got to do your job, so, well, like they had in the old days, the cruise ships, we've got fishing boats to keep an eye out for us. War happens. Threats of invasion, we've had them. But the fishing goes on. Just like it did in my father's time. His grandfather, his father, his grandfather, all the way back. That's all we have done, except a brief visit to Belgium back in the day. Still, I'm on dry land now, and I'll get me rest, ready to go out again. I'll be seeing you.